Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about an aspect of games which has become increasingly apparent over time, as I'm sure a lot of you have observed in mechanics and marketing as of late. We all know that companies are often incentivized by things other than the player's best interest, but what happens when those implementations can result in serious detriments to player health? How responsible are companies for the outcomes of their media in those ways? Today I'm going to be talking about how parasocial relationships are encouraged via advertising and enabling game mechanics, and how they correlate to game addiction. Firstly, people are especially susceptible to these unhealthy emotional attachments and parasocial relationships with the format of modern digital games. Games in general, as an interactive media, have historically enabled what Csikszentmihalyi referred to as flow, or the state in which individuals are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. This concept of flow is a significant part of the discussion surrounding immersion in games, but there are increased nuances with modern digital games which further this conversation. Sound design, the ability to create increasingly realistic graphics, complex and interactive narratives, the ability to form connections with other players, or even NPCs for the player avatar, even first-person perspective. All of this contributes to what makes modern digital games so immersive and what allows them to blur with reality to an extent. Secondly, there have been significant links found between player attachment to digital characters and game addiction. Substantial psychological evidence has been found to show that parasocial relationships do have genuinely addictive qualities. Though centered around television rather than gaming, a 2011 study examined what they refer to as a parasocial breakup, or how people react to the sudden removal of a parasocial entity they've become somewhat dependent on. The study reported that emotional states in these parasocial breakups closely mimic those of real breakups, varying in intensity based on the intensity of the initial relationship. Similarly, the article made note of motivation behind media consumption. Individuals who consume television media in a more engaging and goal-oriented fashion were significantly more prone to these emotional dependencies than those who consumed it ritualistically, as a routine or just to fill time. Furthermore, a 2019 study concluded a positive association between parasocial relationships and YouTube addiction, a step between traditional television and modern games in regard to interactivity and consumer involvement. Similarly, in internet gaming disorder, or IGD, many of the qualities of games which become addicting for people are the social aspects. In a series of psychiatric interviews conducted in 2006, it was shown that a primary draw for many people experiencing game addiction is a level of control and feeling of security not experienced in real-world interaction. Many of the interviewees noted an avoidance in real-world social interaction and stated they're feeling genuinely fulfilled socially through gaming, even when that fulfillment comes from interaction with non-player characters or through fully parasocial relationships. I'm sure many of us can recall instances of seeing these psychological facets exploited by companies for monetary gain. Just recently, there was a very overt example of this in Riot Games' marketing for a new character, Seraphine. While League of Legends has a history of trying to blur the line between fictional characters and people with real feelings and personalities, they took this a step further with their marketing of Seraphine. They created multiple social media accounts for this character and built up a genuine persona for her. She would interact with fans and express her gratitude for all their support. Where it began to take a more Uncanny Valley type turn, though, was when she started making self-deprecating comments, asking for support to help her feel better. There's some really obvious exploitation occurring when a multi-million-dollar company creates a character acting like a person and interacting with people on social media, expressing her insecurity. After this tweet was posted, expressing her feeling self-conscious, she received quite a bit of support, and then posted a second tweet, a photo of a corkboard with the supportive messages printed out and pinned up on it. Riot received significant backlash for this marketing, as many people considered it to be highly insensitive and manipulative. Now, this is a very blatant example of malicious player manipulation. However, in more subtle ways, this encouragement of parasocial relationships can be very effective for garnering profit. Though clearly morally questionable, there can be no denying the profitable nature of fostering addictive habits in consumers. It's important to note that some of these qualities, emotional attachment and investment, aren't bad qualities for media. Giving games a sense of genuine meaning and having players care about creations is a goal for a lot of game designers, and it can often be a sign of a really fantastic narrative. Emotional fulfillment can be an excellent source of intrinsic motivation and make for great play experiences. Where it crosses over into this concerning territory, however, is where the intention and execution becomes malicious in nature. While a game like that Dragon Cancer tells a heavy, emotionally impactful, and resonating story, its intention in doing so is to tell a story. It wants to create empathy, share an experience, and give players a glimpse into this experience of hurt and growth and healing. On the other hand, in the marketing of Seraphine, the intention is not to tell a story or create an impactful experience. It's to manipulate player empathy to have them spend money on a new skin. When companies are incentivized by profit to create media known to cause harm to consumers, they need to be held responsible. Thank you so much for listening.